sir. That joint right there is just, I love that joint. I do. Yes. What is good, my people? Welcome back to Computer Music Academy's weekly homework podcast. I am your host, Tashir Rasay. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Welcome to week 218 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Shout out to my man, Agent Smith 78 for that intro. That's a joint right there. I need that on a project of some type at some point, dude. Good Lord. Shout out to all of you, the watchers and the listeners, the people that support us every single week. And speaking of which, what are we doing? All right. Episode 218. I wanted to keep things very simple this week. And I simply put out to the people, bring me back some bass. Muted bass, fingered bass, sub bass, Miami bass, drum and bass, whatever. Bring me back a new track with emphasis on the bass. And we have 4 submissions this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into it, kicking things off with I guess we can say the king of bass at CMA. Ladies and gentlemen, no one you know. Yes, sir. Yeah. No one doing what no one does. Well, yeah, no one doing what no one does. That's appropriate. Right. He says, y'all know I love bass. Hashtag we are CMA. Yeah, this is very dope. I enjoy this. This is no one keeping it home. And what I mean by that is, we're both from Detroit. And also from Detroit is where the roots of modern day techno come from. It's just that simple. Juan Atkins, Derek May, Kevin Saunderson, they were the ones that innovated all of this music. And this is very reminiscent of that mid to late 80s, early 90s stuff that they were doing as far as like the synth bass. Yeah, that's hitting right in there. It's not necessarily 4 on the floor, but it definitely has those early vibes, the stuff that I was listening to as a child, coming up on the radio. And then later, when video became a little bit more heavy, a bigger format, then we started seeing more stuff like that. So yeah, this is definitely reminiscent of that, man. And hey, man, it's No One. What else would you expect from No One except for some really dope well, this isn't any samples, but some really dope organic stuff and definitely some bass. So props to you on that, my man. Thank you. Let's go on over here and holler at this cat. We hadn't talked to him in a couple weeks. Let's see what he's doing this week. Ladies and gentlemen, OK Joey. See you out in these streets, Joey. I see you, bro. I see you. He says, hello, just turning in my assignment. The samples I used are percussion and a background loop from 5-pin media label sampler. And the piano is from Mike Colombo's Loops, Volume 1 from Machine Masters. Here it is. Hope you enjoy. Very dope. I got to give Joey props because I've seen several standout performances this year where he's really tried to do something different, where he's really done, he's tried to get out of his box, out of his comfort zone. And I think I've called him out, not necessarily called him out, but pointed out, those attempts. And I definitely appreciate it. This was pretty dope because it's more electronic, kind of future bass synth kind of stuff. The reason why I say more electronic is because it has the 4 on the floor aspect of it. And that's throughout most of the track. And what's really dope about this track to me is that one thing that with electronic music, and again, coming up from Detroit, I heard a lot of this stuff. A lot of it is mostly quantized, where it's going to hit on the measure. It's going to hit on the note. Whereas Joey kind of gave it a swing where it's not hitting quite where it should. It's like it's hitting later. And then there's even some reverse percussion elements in there as well. There's some other stuff going on, like some, I don't know, almost like, sounds like a restaurant or something in the background. But the keys and the synth stuff, bass and the drums, very dope. But then it breaks down after the 130, maybe like around the 140. That's where it breaks it down briefly. And then it just turns into a completely different sound, well, a completely different beat after that, which is really dope. I like what you're doing, Joey. Only thing I can say, man, is just keep it going. Seriously. Keep experimenting. Keep seeing where you are comfortable, outside of your normal comfort zone, and continue to make beats in that particular realm. But overall, good stuff, my man. All right. Let's go holler at this cat over here, man. This is another cat we hadn't talked to in a couple weeks. Let's see what he's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, Ja Rose. I do really enjoy this one from Ja. This is pretty dope. This is very dope. Before I go to that, he says, "This was fun. Love y'all, CMA." This was dope. This is like, if you've been listening to Ja the last couple of years, I still think Ja is still trying to find himself, at least when it comes to his submissions. I think he found himself as an artist, period. And I'm talking about as a rapper slash singer, actually playing guitar and bass, if I'm not mistaken. And he makes music outside of CMA, and that stuff is pretty dope. When it comes to CMA submissions, I think he's still trying to find himself. And of course, that is, leaning over or falling over into his other stuff. Okay, I think I'm translating what I want to say. But follow me. If you've been listening to Ja for the last couple of years, he's had a particular sound that he actually began changing this year, doing some very different stuff. For instance, His song that he did for our summertime episode was incredible. It was something completely different. I have never heard from him before. There's been at least 2 or 3 in the last couple of months he's turned in. That's just like, aside from that, that's just like, this is very different. And this has some of the similar sounds of what he's turned in before, but it's like he's using them differently. And I can definitely appreciate that. This is very bass heavy. He put a lot of emphasis on the bass, multiple types of bass. He has 808 or sub bass in there. He also has some really dope fingered, played instrument bass in there. And it's just really dope. The other thing I really like about it is you got the drums, you got the bass stuff in there. But the other elements, like there's, some keys and there's some horns and stuff like that in there that are very subtle. He really gave the highlight, the spotlight to the bass, whether it's the 808/sub bass or it's the played bass. And I got to give you mad props for that, dude. Really, really dope. I really love this track. The different sequences, the way it was structured. It's dope. It's dope. Very, very dope work, John. Real talk, dude. That's pretty damn dope right there. Man, cat's out here tonight. All right, and now we come to the final submission for this week. This man needs no introduction at all. Ladies and gentlemen, Gamma Pods. Gamma Pods closing out episode 218 of the weekly homework assignment / podcast. Gamma is an alien, dog. It's just that simple. He is an alien. You listen to again, I have to go back. I've done this several times, but I go back to when Gamma first started at CMA. And just, he was still very new to making beats as far as I know. And what he was turning in was actually pretty dope then. But you knew that he was working. You knew that he had potential. You knew that he could improve. And then fast forward, I think this is year 4 for him. To see him come into where he is right now is just like, what the hell, dude? Like, he's not just turning in beats. He's not just turning in stuff where, and no offense to anyone that's doing this, because people are still trying to find themselves as musicians, but he's not just turning in, where you could tell that he makes, let's say, 4 or 5 tracks and he just kind of moves stuff around and mutes it and whatnot. No, there's song structure to what Gamma is doing. There's purpose. There's real change ups and real movements within the song. This dude kills it. And he's doing nothing but getting better and better and better every single week, every single year. And I just sit here like, man, this dude is so dope. He's been killing it. He's been killing it regardless. But it's just like, again, as I spoke of, I think with Joey and with No One and with Ja earlier, with Gamma, he as well has been on a mission to evolve and do bigger and better things. And he has done a lot of that this year at CMA. This is crazy. This is a very chill joint. He says, was in a chill mode this week. This is what came out. I hope there's enough bass. I used Ableton's Boom sub bass, EQ'd and processed it with mono bass saturator and Slam Dog. This is dope. It wasn't a lot of boom, 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 but the bass that's in there, yeah, it definitely stands out. It does. And he plays it so dope. And there's a couple of different basses going on in here. Some really deep kind of synthy bass, but then it goes into like this kind of sharp bass. At some point, I want to say that's around the 140 where that comes in for a little bit. And it just sits really nice in the track. Everything is mixed very well. Man, I want Gamma to get checks, man. Gamma needs it. He deserves it. When you listen to what this man is doing, clearly this dude is on another planet. Props, my man. Props. Big props to you. Good God. And props to everyone else that participated this week. Ja Rose, OK Joey, No One You Know. And props to you, the watcher, the listener, who hangs out with us and supports us every single week. You are appreciated. Know that. And if you would like to be amongst the great talent pool at CMA, come on over to computermusicacademy.com and join us. It is that simple. We're done for the week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next time.